For the second time in the second round of the NBA postseason, we change venues once again. A doubleheader of Game 5s tonight in the NBA. It starts inside the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Game 5 between the Knicks and the Pacers. It ends with the nightcap out in Mile High between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. A preview, breakdown, and some bets from both of those games comes your way with the two premier NBA handicappers here on the SportsGrid Network. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. Soon DRS. When the NBA season gives way to the WNBA season over the summer, the two premier handicappers around the W on the Spiz Grizz, live right here as well.
Yep, three-point player props be damned this summer with the WNBA. We'll continue that all the way through. When's the last game, by the way, in the WNBA? Did we go all the way through to Labor Day?
September.
When does it end?
Yeah.
There we go.
It's
Perfect.
through September, the WNBA Finals through September as well. A long summer in the W ahead. It should be great times. All right, we start tonight, though, in the NBA playoffs with the first game of two inside MSG. The Knicks return home after dropping 2 in Indianapolis. They were shorthanded for both. They covered in Game 3. They got blown out by 32 in Game 4. We are tied at 2 games apiece, with the Knicks a 2-point favorite tonight inside the Garden. Now, we know they are going to be shorthanded once again. We do not expect to see OG Anunoby tonight. The total at 217. What do you think plays out tonight inside the Mecca in game number 5?
I think the Pacers are the better team. I do. And unless the referees step in and sort of say, nope, the Knicks are going to win this basketball game, I think Indiana's going to win this one tonight and take that series lead with 3 straight victories. When we're talking about correlated bets and how they work, you take a look at that -2.5 price on the Knicks. Why would you bet that -2.5 price here? Because I told you early in the show, there's no way we're escaping this game without big performances by the 3 guys that are typically scoring points here for the New York Knicks, which would be Dante DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, and also Josh Hart. You saw last game, Hart didn't show up, neither did DiVincenzo. But look at DiVincenzo's points prop tonight, Ben. 22.5 points, as if we're just going to go right back up to around 25 points, which is tough. But those aren't even the 2 guys that I'm looking for if I just want to say, well, I'd rather just do this. Jalen Brunson's points prop is 33.5 points. Let me tell you this right now.
Ooh,
if he doesn't, let's just say, get 30 tonight, they're not winning, Ben. Why would you take the -2.5? Like, hey, Donnie, man, Brunson had 19 points, 11 assists, and 3 rebounds. That's not happening. That means they got beat by double digits. Brunson is going to have one of his Jalen Brunson MVP, playoff games, which he's had quite a bit already this year. If not, the Knicks have no chance tonight. So I look directly at that correlation because there's a chance that he can score 35, 36, 37, and they still lose the game. Why would you take the -2.5 if you don't think Brunson is going to flat out dominate today? You can't. It's correlated.
Completely agree. I bet the over with some plus money at 32.5 last night, up by a point. The over still has the plus money. Jalen Brunson needs to go over both of those numbers if the New York Knicks are going to win this game or even keep it close and competitive. It is the burden of Brunson. He has to be their offense. And Donnie, even when things were more optimistic in the opening round against Philly, in the first 2 games here of this series against Indiana, it was all Jalen Brunson, and that included with OG Anunoby on the floor, who the last time we were at the Garden scored 28 points in less than 3 quarters before he exited with that left hamstring injury that has now sidelined him for 2 straight games. We expect a third. I would still think Josh Hart has to flirt with his over. Same with Tay having to light it up from 3 tonight. Tyrese Halliburton has started to find his offensive output. His points prop, 20.5. DRS, the highest total of this series was 223 for game number 3. And both you and I questioned if Jalen Brunson was banged up and without Anunoby, could they keep the pace? Could we see enough scoring for us to get there? No, stayed under. Game 4 stayed under as well, as New York did not provide much in terms of that offensive output. Total tonight is still 217. You need the New York Knicks to match the pace of the Pacers to keep this thing to an over. Both games inside Madison Square Garden skied over their pregame number.
Yeah, and I would agree with you there. And also, getting back to that betting strategy and philosophy, the later we go in a series, particularly a tie series, you don't get those more outlet breaks. Every single possession means just a little bit more. So I always generally lean towards those unders in that environment. If we're taking a look at some of those longer shot bets to take a look
Yeah.
at, you know who the 48-minute man is out there. That's Josh Hart. So you take a look at the FanDuel Sportsbook to get a triple-double tonight for Josh Hart. That's a 19-1 price. So we're typically taking a look at Nikola Jokic at like a 2 plus 200 price, maybe a Doncic at like a 4-1 price. He's 19-1. So obviously you're not betting on the points. He should be able to get to 10. It's really the assist. Can he get the double-digit assists? Because if he plays 48 minutes, he's going to be catching at least double-digit rebounds.
Yeah.
I think that might be a fun bet to watch, and also a monster bounce-back situation. And also, we talk about he didn't play 48 minutes in the last game. Played roughly half of that. He's going to get that 48 minutes in the Garden tonight. That's a player to watch out for. That should be extra rested and ready for this one.
His rebounding prop is 12.5. That's actually back down from where it was by the time we reach Indy at 13 and a hook. It might sound outrageous, but it is the right number, and it all goes into the idea that he could stack up double digits in the three main stack categories. I do want to make this final point, and I promise we will preview the nightcap at altitude in Denver on the other side of the break. When you look at the money line, New York is a 2-point favorite, but it's minus 130, money line favorite. Indiana is the complete opposite in terms of the series price. The Pacers are a minus 130 series outright favorite to win, and yet they're an underdog in Game 5. Make that make sense. Match up the correlation. And to Donnie's point, if you think Indiana is the better side, just because of how shorthanded the New York Knicks are at this moment, at this stage of the postseason, not only do you take them outright tonight in Game 5, you bet the minus 130 to win this series outright as well.
Makes some sense here, trying to put those numbers to hard work, and it does include a Pacers win tonight for me tonight, Ben. How do you like that? Pacers going to win the series. Pacers going to win tonight in the Garden. We'll talk some elevation next, who I think is another chance, Ben, for an upset alert special tonight. Great stuff in the NBA, man.
The Pacers would be at least a 5.5 point favorite for a potential series clincher back in Indy later this week.